This guy comes in at about 7,500 pounds or so. That thing's gonna give us a little bit of a trouble getting her off there, but man, where we're gonna set that is gonna make this feature look awesome. Can't wait. Let's see if we can get this thing unloaded. Well, we got her in, guys, just barely. That one was pushing a little over 3 tons, and it was a beast. But man, it looks great. It's gonna do exactly what we need, retain the soil and the basin that is going right there. And it is nice and solid in place where we wanted it to go. Now that is one big stone, 66 inches tall, a little over 3.5 feet wide that way, equally 3 foot deep plus. So we're gonna have to come in here and do some more outcroppings, really help retain this edge where our basin's gonna be just on the inside. So we really wanna make sure we've got some mass and some weight up against this hillside to retain that. Challenge is gonna be, if I can get up this hill. This used to be the old driveway. So who knows what we're gonna encounter. One of my guys was digging up here, ran into some asphalt. That's good. Concrete's gonna be bad, but we don't know. So it's gonna be a challenging go for this one until we can get some of that base material in. And unfortunately, up there is our machine, which is not running, which is putting us dead in the water. Stuck in limp mode. We got a fuel water sensor that's gone bad, something in the computer. So unfortunately, that guy's going to the shop. Alright guys, so we got our retention boulders set here. Everything is pretty well ready to start getting backfilled. We got to do a little bit of sealing in between some of these guys, but we got a nice solid base here, and we're going to continue to throw dirt and soil on this backside, compact it. Basin is going in right up there, and then we'll continue some of these as we go upstream. Is kind of mid machine up there, so we're plenty good. I just wanted to make sure we had some good reinforcement and get this guy nice and stabilized. Basin's getting dug in right now.
1
So as you can see, guys, we got most of this basin all excavated out. What we're doing now is just taking out this extra little bit down at the bottom for our Pondless Waterfall vault boxes. And what these guys are doing, this is where your pump ends up sitting in a pondless or in a negative edge pond or a constructed wetland. They're used for multiple things. We've got these vertical slits here that all the water is going to pass through. The aqua block will sit on top of this, come up here. We've got extensions for these to bring them up to the height that we need. And then we drop the pump right down inside of there. And we actually have a convenient lid that goes over the top of that. So now, instead of just digging down for a pump in a pile of gravel in the middle of a sock pipe roll like we've seen a lot of other contractors do, we've got this awesome Aquascape Pondless Waterfall vault box that works great for this application. It fits really snug inside the bundle of aqua blocks that we have in there. We've got 42 of the large aqua blocks going down in this guy here. 3 of these guys. We've got 2 pumps running this one, another one individual on each one of those, and then some of these weeping jet ones coming along here. So we've got a lot of pumps. This optional opening here is for extra flow in these, and we're going to go ahead and cut all of those out. You can see that those are sealed off, and that is in the event that you have extra pumps in here so you can draw in a sufficient amount of water. We are going to cut those on this one. These on the front and the bottom little toe of this, they come cut from the factory, but we want to take this rib, get rid of that so we can get adequate flow coming into that box, getting the water to be pumped where we need it to go. So the really cool thing about this fabric that we're using, it's a really heavy duty rock pad. It's like a 12-ounce heavy welded fabric. And when we come up short like we're doing on this side over here, what we're doing is taking this heat gun and we're actually welding this material together. It's a non-woven geotextile, and if you heat both sides with that heat gun for an extended period, it starts to kind of melt, and then you can press them together and it actually will weld them enough that we don't have that underpiece that we're short on coming up this wall back here wanting to fall down before we put our liner in there. So it's just a kind of a little trick of the trade that we've learned over the years working with this material, and it's extremely beneficial for situations like this. So as you can see, we've got our first layer of aqua blocks in, and what we're doing is we're backfilling with gravel along all the edge of the perimeter of this entire basin here before we put our next level in, because we need to have pressure pushing in on all the sides so that that stays nice and compact. That's what gives these things their strength. If you just throw these in loose, you're not going to have the stability and structure. So we want to make sure we've got a good, nice, solid backfill along all the edges and along the back of those snorkel vaults, and we are good to go. First layer done. We're going to throw that second layer in, and we should be ready to rock in the top and start making some progress with waterfall. Alright guys, you can see we got the basin in finally. All those aqua blocks are set. We're pulling that liner back over in the fabric because we're doing some digging around the edges here. We've got this other waterfall that's got to come in and drop in here, and the extra or the main falls is coming in here. We're actually going to bib liner over the top of that, and we're going to use part of that basin as stream for our stream footage. And also I want to have these two sources of water kind of converge together in a T or a Y fashion to make that area look really kind of interesting. So what we're doing now is we're putting in our main plumbing line. It's a 3-inch flex that's going all the way up to that wetland. We've got our overflow already piped in that goes down the hill, and then we've got 2 more of these snorkel vaults that we're going to have each source's pumps in. One of them is going to have an extra pump that runs this weeping wall section. The other one is going to be running the first bubbling rock and then the second up the hill there. But what we've got going on here, it's kind of a challenging setting because we've got to get pipes underneath our sidewalk and our steps, and then behind this first waterfall that's going to drop in. So we're going to have to really kind of be careful how we lay these pipes in and get this stuff really laid out so that we don't have any issues down the line with pipes being crushed, or if God forbid we have a breakage of pipe, that we can actually access those and it's not going to affect anything. But in this instance, we really don't have a choice. We've got to go underneath this stream because there's no other way. We'd have to go underneath a stream even if we went that way. So we're choosing right here because we can get it to have a nice fall and elevation. That way water will drain out if we ever have to winterize, and then that pipe's laying right behind where that weeping wall is going to actually be. So we're going to come in here and set a really big stone to set this off, retain that. Steps are going to come up and walk right alongside where this stream's cutting in, where that final falls is dropping down in there. And that one's going to have a pretty decent amount of force because we've got both systems from up top converging into this one. So this thing's going to be moving at a pretty good clip, and we really want to make sure that we have good views of that going up along the steps and good retention all throughout. All right guys, so we're getting ready to start. We're actually starting setting some stone. We got first one in behind me over in that corner in the basin, and now I'm looking for others to fill that side up over there. So back to the boneyard, And let's go check this out, see what we've got. So one of the advantages and also disadvantages of having this massive boneyard here, it's almost like having a quarry, the stone yard right here for us to choose from. So the selection is great. However, you really have to be careful. There's only certain sizes of so many stones. So what I've done is I've lined them all up in rows. So when we go to grab certain heights and certain styles, they're all pretty much in their respective sizes and rows. So we don't have to really pull a lot of these pallets out, because it takes a long time, and we're trying to be as efficient as possible to get the ones that we want. Plus, we do not want to make the mistake of using all of one size and all the nice ones from the stone that we actually have on site, because we're going to run out at a certain point. So you have to really balance and be very selective on what you're picking, the size, the shape, the function of that, or else you'll catch yourself at the end of the job with a big pile of junk, and then you got to work it in somewhere. So selection, not only when we're picking these stones at the stone yard, but on the site, is extremely crucial. Alright guys, as you can see, we've got basin in, we've got some boulders already placed. This whole side's edged. All of our pump vault, Pondless Waterfall vault units are in with all those extensions. We got a big basin here. First steps going in, we're gonna have a waterfall coming right down here, and then what we're trying to do is set another big ledge that they've got going up there that's going to serve as another waterfall for that main stream coming down through there. So we want to have those two converge all at one spot. We've got some pipes already in the ground. Those are running up to their respective spots. We're moving. right, guys, we finally got the right stone set in there. So this is going to be our waterfall stone. That water is going to come raging through there. We're going to have a total of close to 12,000 gallons an hour with the 2 pumps. So we've got one pump that starts all the way up there at the wetland, and then we're going to have these little tributaries that are dropping in off this higher wall. But what's going to be really cool is this other 8,000 gallon pump and stream is going to drop in right here. So they're going to converge right onto that stone. It's going to be just a torrent of water coming through there. We got this nice little trench here cut out that water is going to kind of roll through. This thing's got just a little bit of a crown, so we're going to have water kind of wanting to go on either side. But man, it's just going to come raging down through this whole area. It's going to be awesome.